We do still have possible slick spots out there, especially with the freezing fog this morning. We'll talk about when that could lift.
And how a local tattoo artist is restoring confidence in breast cancer survivors.
And later, a celebrity actor will be serving up scoops of ice cream right here in Wisconsin. We'll tell you who and when you can see him. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to News 3 Now This Morning. I'm Kyrie Lee.
I'm Chris Stanford. Welcome to December. Oh, boy.
Yes, December 1st already. It seems like I just don't, like the calendar months seem to be going a lot quicker this year.
It seems like Mother Nature knows it's December 1st. We have some very cold temperatures, more snow in the forecast. Let's give you a live look outside this morning where crews did just pretty much a bang-up job clearing off the roads. The interstate flowing along nice and smooth this morning. We have the snow emergency in Madison that is lifting at 7 o'clock this morning. So that's good news. Some of those side streets, though, with that snowpack and temperatures this cold, still kind of slick.
Yeah, you may run into some slick spots this morning, so make sure you're giving yourself a little bit of extra time. But of course, not only do you need to take a little extra time, you're also dealing with some freezing fog out there, Savannah.
Yeah, exactly. With temperatures this cold and the freezing fog, any area that went untreated, especially those parking lots, side roads, sidewalks, definitely could still be slick this morning. Janesville's down to just a quarter of a mile, Watertown at 5, Madison's at 10, but we've been focusing on this area across western Dane County towards Mount Horeb, Sauk City, those areas all morning because that's where that patchy area dense fog kind of lingers. 1 mile in Lone Rock, a lot of us are at 10, but freezing fog definitely in the forecast through the next couple of hours. And here's where our temperatures sit this morning. Only 5 in Janesville, Madison, and Watertown, 0 in Lone Rock, and -2 in Watoma. And we have even colder temperatures that are in the forecast, especially Wednesday night into Thursday morning. We're going to be sub-zero. We'll talk about exactly how cold and the snow that's in the forecast yet again later today.
Savannah, thank you. And if you're traveling this morning, be prepared. Winter weather continues to impact roadways and airports.
Yeah, airports across the country reported thousands of delays and cancellations over the weekend. Major hubs like Chicago's O'Hare and Midway were hit the hardest with hundreds of flights canceled over the weekend. Airports in Chicago recorded more than 8 inches of snow. Dallas-Fort Worth still experiencing delays of 3 hours or more. A JetBlue software update over the weekend also forced at least 70 cancellations. The winter weather stretched across the country from Utah to Michigan to upstate New York. And then on I-70 in Indiana, 45 vehicles were involved in a pileup, and crews worked several hours to clear the highway.
If you live in Madison and are responsible for clearing your sidewalk, here's what you need to know. Under City of Madison rules, all snow and ice must be cleared from sidewalks, including curb ramps, by noon today. Officials say if ice remains and won't come up, use sand for traction instead of salt, especially when temperatures are very low. Free sand is available at several official pickup sites across the city. On the east side, you can get sand at Olbrich, Rindall, Sycamore, Tenney, and Warner Parks. On the west side, sand is available at Brittingham, Elver, Garner, and Glen Golf Parks. You can bring a pail and shovel and check the City of Madison website for all locations.
What I do is I go to the bin with sand on the corner near me. I mix some of my salt in with the sand.
Okay.
So you don't have to use as much salt. It's better for the environment, better for our lakes and all that stuff.
There's a key tip.
There you go. We have some more weather in the forecast, folks. We have another storm system that we're tracking. You can get ahead of it with the free First Warn weather app.
In more top stories this morning, 4 people, including 3 children, are dead and 11 others are injured after a shooting during a family gathering in California. Authorities confirmed the victims were 8, 9, 14, and 21. Officials are calling it a targeted incident. The shooting happened Saturday night at a banquet hall in Stockton. In all, 15 people were shot. Escaping the venue were 100 to 150 guests at the event. So far, no arrests have been made. The suspect or possible suspects remain at large.
Vigil for U.S. Army Specialist Sarah Beckstrom took place at her high school, Webster County High.
Beckstrom was one of the West Virginia National Guard specialists shot in D.C. last Wednesday. Inside the school gym, friends and former classmates shared memories, holding hands and candles as they honored her life. Beckstrom died from her injuries on Thursday night. Funeral arrangements have not yet been made, and the Beckstrom family will release them when they're ready.
Meantime, Secretary of State Marco Rubio remains cautiously optimistic a peace deal between Ukraine and Russia can happen. He met with the delegation from Ukraine in Florida yesterday. Ukraine is seeking international security guarantees as part of any agreement to end the war. The negotiations come against a backdrop of Russian missile and drone attacks against cities and infrastructure across Ukraine. Ukraine continuing to target Russian energy and defense with long-range drones and missiles. Rubio says further progress was made, but more work remains, adding that Russia must be part of the equation to end the war in Ukraine.
There's more work to be done. This is delicate, it's complicated, there are a lot of moving parts, and obviously there's another party involved here that'll have to be a part of the equation, and that'll continue later this week when Mr. Woodcock travels to Moscow.
U.S. Special Envoy Steve Woodcock is expected to travel to Moscow today for more talks to end the war.
A West Allis tattoo artist is helping breast cancer survivors restore confidence through 3D areola tattoos. Zoe Braun, owner of Tiger Lily Collective, specializes in paramedical tattoos that camouflage scars and recreate realistic-looking areolas. The procedure typically costs about $500, and insurance sometimes covers it. Braun also offers one free session each month to make the service accessible to anyone who needs it.
When you get out of the shower, every time I got out of the shower, I would see nothing. And it was like, I felt like Barbie, like a Barbie doll. I'm on a mission to try to build the awareness that you don't have to look like Barbie for the rest of your life.
Jean Blake is one of the people who received her tattoos after a double mastectomy, saying they restored her sense of self after feeling incomplete. Braun has completed dozens of these procedures over the past 5 years. And to learn more about her free monthly service, you can visit TigerLily.com.
6:06 now in Iowa County. An Illinois man is dead after a UTV rollover in the town of Eden. It happened on Friday. Officials say 67-year-old Mark Camus was driving the UTV on private property on Tower Road. When it rolled over, Camus was pinned underneath. Despite life-saving efforts, he died at the scene. Multiple agencies responded, including the State Patrol.
Millions of SNAP food benefit recipients may soon have to meet new work rules to keep their benefits. The Republican-backed Big Beautiful bill now requires at least 80 hours of activity each month for a much wider group of people. A Congressional Budget Office report says that will mean 2.4 million fewer people getting benefits on average each month. States are reporting confusion, rushed timelines, and technology systems not ready to implement the change. As a result, some residents could lose food aid as soon as January. State officials warn the full impact will unfold as recipients hit their next recertification deadlines.
The construction industry is looking to a new generation to fill a huge worker shortage. The problem is the construction industry can't replace retiring workers fast enough. So tonight on News 3 Now at 10, I am looking at some solutions and showing you how a local school district is preparing teenagers to enter the trades. All right, Kyrian, are you a Hugh Jackman fan?
I cannot say that I'm fangirling over him, but I am familiar with his works.
Well, whether you know him as Wolverine or P.T. Barnum, Hugh Jackman's going to be in Wisconsin tomorrow serving up some ice cream. The Academy Award-nominated actor will be at Kopp's Frozen Custard in Greenfield, Wisconsin. He's promoting his new movie, Song Sung Blue, premiering on Christmas Day. Co-stars Kate Hudson. It's a film based on a Neil Diamond tribute band from Milwaukee. Don't miss your chance to try the special blueberry custard flavor and be among the first 500 guests to snag a free scoop. Line starts at 1:30 Tuesday afternoon. Again, that's Kopp's Frozen Custard in Greenville.
I imagine this will bring in a lot of traffic. I tried to stop at Kopp's, on the way, through from Milwaukee one time, and yeah, it didn't work out. The line was way too long.
Yes,
way
I
too
can't
long.
imagine how busy it's going to be tomorrow.
Blueberry custard, how does that sound?
Sounds pretty good. I like blueberry
Not bad.
flavored things. More so blueberry cheesecake, though.
Yeah.
Or maybe
Okay.
blueberry waffle cone, but
We know you love all
can't
the
go
things
wrong
ice
with
cream.
anything, yeah.
Yeah, so ice cream's good. I don't care how cold it is right now.
No,
still
I'm
good.
still eating
Any
it.
time of the year.
Exactly.
That's true.
Yeah, our temperatures right now are down to the single digits, but I would still pull out one of those ice cream cones for sure.
Yes.
5 degrees only right now in Madison, 0 in Lone Rock. Few of us did fall sub-zero. Lone Rock was one of those areas. Watoma is still at -2. We've got a couple of more warm-ish spots. I don't want to say warm because 17 in Monroe and Milwaukee is still cold, but better than what we're dealing with in Madison right now. We've also got a winter weather advisory to our south, maybe Rock and Walworth counties. A few of us southeast of Madison get added to this. This will go into effect at noon and run until midnight because we have additional additional snowfall in the forecast. We'll time that out and talk about how much more we could see on what's already fallen out there from the Thanksgiving weekend system.
Sounds good. Coming up in your morning sports, Badger women's hockey winning big in Nashville, the scoring record they just broke.
And coming up in your health headlines, the FDA is alleging a vaccine killed kids. More about the claim and which vaccine after the break.
And here's a look at the roads as you're headed out. Later, Savannah's going to be back with your forecast. You're watching News 3 Now this morning.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
We're back at 6:13 on your Monday. In health news this morning, the FDA is making the unfounded claim that the COVID-19 vaccine caused the death of at least 10 children. It was announced in a memo by a senior official on Friday. No details were provided surrounding how the FDA reached this conclusion, though. They did point to an analysis of 96 deaths, of which 10 they allege are linked to the COVID-19 vaccine. As a result, officials now say that vaccines will require more evidence of their safety and value before they can be marketed. No details have been provided yet as to how the process would change.
A new report from the World Health Organization shows global measles elimination remains distant goal. Deaths from measles dropped 88% around the world from the year 2000 up to last year. But the WHO says that progress is now in jeopardy. Vaccine coverage is well below the level needed to stop transmission, and cases are surging. Last year, 59 countries reported large or disruptive measles outbreaks. That's almost triple the number reported in 2021. A quarter of outbreaks are happening in countries previously declared measles-free, including the U.S. and Canada.
Researchers at Washington University School of Medicine found how we drive is an indicator of brain health. People with mild cognitive impairment, which is a precursor to Alzheimer's, were found to drive less, especially at night, and tended to stick to familiar routes. Researchers say it could be used to identify drivers at risk for Alzheimer's before they have an accident.
6:14. Let's check in now with Savannah. Savannah's having some visibility issues this morning.
Yeah, there's some dense fog out there, and some of this is patchy freezing fog. So you want to allow extra time this morning. Some of that is going to blanket the area as you head out on the roadways. Once the sun rises, I do think these visibilities will come up. But Janesville has steadily kind of lingered down to under 2 miles, and they're back down to just a quarter of a mile right now. Watertown at 5, the city of Madison 10, Lone Rock 3. Some of these have come up a lot since where we started a couple hours ago, but because of our temperatures really cold and that patchy freezing fog, any untreated roadways could become slick. Any wet roadways might be slick out there, so just be mindful of that before heading out. 6 degrees is what we're waking up to in Madison, 5 in Janesville, 1 degree in Lone Rock, and 2 in Wisconsin Dells. And our temperatures are only going to fall a lot more, not necessarily today, but Wednesday night into Thursday, I'm tracking really cold temperatures. We're going to be cloudy all day today, and then some light snow showers start to work in northwest of Madison around 12 to 12:30. Some light snow showers down across Janesville and areas across the Rockford and Chicagoland areas. Now south of us across Rockford and the Chicagoland areas, those are under a winter weather advisory. That's until noon to midnight today. I do think some of our southeastern counties might get included in that because we're still going to be dealing with moderate to heavy snow showers. I think just light scattered snow showers up towards the Dells, Madison, and down towards Platteville, but that will linger into the afternoon and early evening hours before moving out. Now we could see some more snow flurries. These would be very light. You can see the blue, not as prominent as what we're expecting later this afternoon and evening, tonight into tomorrow as well. Additional snowfall accumulations, I would say for Madison and areas southward, those places could pick up 1 to 2 inches at the most, but I think just trace amounts for areas towards the Dells, Watoma, Camp Douglas. So not much more, and definitely not as impactful as the system we just saw, but it still is going to be snowy as we head into the afternoon and evening. And then the really cold night I was talking about, Wednesday night into Thursday, we're going to fall to -2 and then only rise to 10 degrees to follow that on Thursday. But yeah, for the foreseeable future, we have temperatures that are going to be below freezing level of 32. The only day we get close to that is this upcoming Wednesday with a high of 30.
Good
Good morning, Madison. It's the most wonderful time of the year for Wisconsin volleyball. That is, time to go dancing. For the 13th straight year and the 29th time in program history, the Badgers have earned a place in the tournament. After finishing the season number 2 in the Big Ten and a record of 24-4, the Badgers earned a 3rd seed and will host 2 first-round games at the Fieldhouse starting this Thursday. Wisconsin is set to take on Eastern Illinois in the first round, and they will play the winner of the North Carolina and UTEP game to make their way to regionals and potentially further. Exciting road ahead for the Badgers. Now it's time for you to have a great morning.
Thanks, Kay. Meantime, Badger women's hockey is on a roll. They wrapped up the Smashville Showcase tournament and smashed some records in the process. To Nashville we go, playing against Stonehill College. First 20 seconds, UW's Finley McCarthy gets the party started, her first goal of the season. And then later, Lacey Eden finds the back of the net for her 200th career point. Only the 9th Badger in program history to do that. Second period, Badgers put up 9 points, the most goals in a single period in program history. Final score, 17-2. That is a new single game scoring record for the Badgers, beating the one they set last season. Coming up next, they play at Ohio State this Friday.
They are on a roll. Well, it's time for the Packers to move on from their Thanksgiving Day win over the Lions.
Our senior Packers writer Jason Wilde reports on what's next for Green Bay.
Good morning, everybody from Green Bay. The Packers players get back to work after their long weekend, after their Thanksgiving win in Detroit over the Lions, and they do so feeling pretty good about themselves, having won 3 in a row and built some momentum after back-to-back losses to Carolina and Philadelphia a few weeks ago. Now, that means that Matt LaFleur, as he gets his team ready for its matchup with the first place in the NFC Chicago Bears, how crazy is that? He wants to make sure that they aren't getting complacent and aren't getting satisfied. So that will be the message all week long leading into this rivalry game.
Well, I still don't think we're where we want to get to, certainly. And I just don't think you can ever be satisfied. And you just got to keep fighting. You got to put the work in. There's no substitute for the work. And thankfully, I'm around a bunch of guys that embrace the challenges and embrace putting in the work. There's no shortcuts in this league, and you just got to keep fighting.
We'll have full coverage of the Packers back to work today and full coverage throughout the week leading into Packers-Bears on Sunday on our website, channel3000.com. And while you're there, make sure you sign up for the Packers newsletter so you can get our Packers coverage delivered directly to your inbox every single day. In Green Bay, Jason Wilde, channel3000.com.
Jason, thank you. Still ahead, how you can still participate in Small Business Saturday despite the weekend snowstorm.
And coming up in our next half hour, the aftermath in Hong Kong and Sri Lanka in the wake of 2 massive disasters. Hey, we're back 6:24 on your Monday. Check out this picture from Maggie Martinez sending us a couple of horses.
Very nice. It just is like perfect.
Frolicking in the fresh snow.
Yes, living their best life.
Love to see it. Maggie, thank you so much.
Well, the record-breaking snowstorm, of course, disrupted Small Business Saturday for many businesses throughout the Madison area this past weekend. But this coming weekend, you have an opportunity to support them once again. So this opportunity to support local stores typically brings in 20% of their annual sales, but they missed out on that. Monroe Street saw dramatically reduced foot traffic over the weekend. So some retailers are coming together to launch Small Business Saturday version 2 this Saturday, December 6th. The snowstorm serves as a reminder that you can always still shop local, whether online or in person, especially during the holiday season.
Yeah, just shout out to everybody who worked through the holiday weekend. You know, there were shipping disruptions, the trucks, coming in, couldn't get here, and there were empty shelves and everything, and there was a mad rush on Friday. So
kudos to everyone.
Let's get out there and support those small businesses. December 6th, this Saturday. Small Business Saturday version 2. So to find a map of participating shops, special offers, and a whole lot more, go to shopsmalldanecounty.com.
Did you do any online shopping over the holiday break?
I did.
Okay.
I did. I'm chopping away at that list, making
Chopping
some
away.
progress. How about you? How's your list looking?
Not too shabby, I will say. I still am like kind of like every time I think I got something done, I'm like, oh, what about
something else
this
pops up.
person? I'm like, yeah, what about that person? But I think hopefully most of it should be done hopefully the week before Christmas.
All right.
For sure, yes.
You got this. I know it's December 1st already.
You
It's
don't
like,
have much
what?
time.
Yeah,
Yes.
just a few weeks left.
Yes. So
All right.
hang in there.
Hey, so we got all that snow over the weekend. We have another chance we could get some snow. Savannah, we'll check that when we come back. This morning, after a massive snowstorm, the bitter cold sets in, and we're tracking the next system that could bring more snow.
Plus, the roads may still be icy. We're tracking how your morning commute may be impacted and what precautions you should take.
And tensions with Venezuela, the high-stakes phone call between presidents. Well, good morning, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to News 3 Now this morning. I'm Chris Stanford.
And I'm Kyrie Lee. Thanks for waking up with us this morning. Hope you had a fantastic holiday week.
It's already December 1st.
Yeah.
It's Monday, fresh start to the week.
Freezing outside.
Yeah, it definitely feels like December out there, I would say.
And some of those roads could still have a little snowpack on them from the weekend. Let's take a live look this morning as traffic is picking up on the interstate. But some of those local roads, it was just a lot of snow to clear.
Yes.
I mean, good gracious, we had almost a foot of snow to get off those roads. So, of course, it might be a little slick still this morning.
Yeah, and I know you did a lot of shoveling over the weekend along with everyone else, I'm sure.
Savannah, I got out 3 times to shovel my sidewalk.
Yeah, my dad was out there probably at least 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, and the Sunday morning, it was like a block party. Everybody's outside shoveling the snow.
Yes.
Should have played some music, those Christmas tunes, now that it was over Thanksgiving, I guess. But yeah, guys, the big story this morning is the freezing fog. So yeah, that could lead to slick spots out there, especially any untreated surfaces from what we just got over the weekend. Right now, Madison's up to 10 miles. We did have some pretty dense fog in a couple hours ago, but the visibilities are coming up. Just really 2 spots that we're still watching. Lone Rock down to under 2 miles, and then Janesville's at a 1/4 mile. The rest of us, 7 to 10 miles, which isn't too bad. Just be mindful of that. I do think the later into the morning that we get, all visibilities come up, but this is what we're waking up to as far as temperatures go. Yeah, really cold. 6 in Madison, 2 in the Dells, 1 in Lone Rock. We've got some areas that are in the teens or double digits, but we're going to see more of those tonight before an even colder night gets back into the forecast across the entire area. We'll be waking up to sub-zero chills. Which morning? I'll answer that coming up.
All right, Savannah, thank you. And if you're heading out this morning, make sure to give yourself some extra time. Some lingering impacts from the weekend storm could still slow you down, as we've mentioned. Overnight, Madison crews have continued salting roads ahead of this morning's low temperatures. Officials say that extra salt should help limit new patches of ice, but do warn slick spots are still possible. The city plans to lift the snow emergency here in about 30 minutes at 7 a.m. Crews worked around the clock over the weekend, plowing and salting all 1,800 traffic lane miles across the city. However, many drivers found themselves unprepared for the season's first significant snowfall.
I would say that if you don't think you can get through it, don't try. You can tell people are being a little more careful when they're driving around.
Even with improving conditions, drivers are still advised to use caution and allow extra time on the roads this morning. And over the weekend, that storm causing multiple travel delays and issues as people tried to get home from their Thanksgiving celebrations.
Yeah, FlightAware reporting 12,000 flights were delayed, another 1,000 were canceled just yesterday. Passengers whose flights were moved up should still be keeping tabs on their tickets for today. Forecasters say a new storm system is currently taking shape across the Mid-South, Arkansas, and where Louisiana meets Texas. We are also expecting some snow ourselves that Savannah is tracking, and we'll have the updated track on that coming up in just a moment. Meantime, the Merrimack Ferry is closed this morning. WSDOT says the ferry shut down during Saturday's storm. An alternate route around the ferry has not been provided yet, and there is currently no estimates on when the ferry could reopen.
You can continue to follow this ever-changing weather on your phone by downloading the free First Warn Weather app. You can find that in your app store. Turning now to some local news, several fire departments responded to a barn fire in the town of Dane over the weekend. The fire happened on Lavina Road near the Schumacher Farm Park. The Dane County Sheriff's Office says the barn was not being used at the time of the fire and no one was injured.
In Dodgeville, 4 people are recovering this morning after a car crash there. It happened Saturday morning during the heavy snow between Highway 18 and Berg Road. The Iowa County Sheriff's Office says 1 person was slightly hurt, 2 were seriously hurt, and 1 is critically injured. Now to an update on the Hong Kong high-rise fire. Police officials now saying the death toll has risen to 146.
Authorities say that number could still grow as crews continue searching the tower block. That search is expected to last another 3 to 4 weeks. So far, 11 people have been arrested on corruption charges connected to the fire. Overnight, officials revealed the building's protective netting failed to meet fire resistance standards, and fire alarms were not working when the blaze broke out.
Meanwhile, in Sri Lanka, officials there say a massive flood has killed 159 people. The death toll expected to climb as 203 are still missing. Millions more are without power. Volunteer groups, meantime, are now beginning to help with the cleanup efforts and launch some new makeshift kitchens to help feed those impacted.
This morning, the Palestinian Ministry of Health is reporting that the death toll in Gaza has now surpassed 70,000 people. The ministry is also reporting that roughly 350 Palestinians have been killed by Israeli forces since a ceasefire went into effect 6 weeks ago. However, Gaza officials have not said how many of those killed were Hamas fighters, but says that roughly 10,000 women and 20,000 children have been killed since the war began. Israel did not dispute the amount of civilians killed, but says that the ministry's numbers are exaggerated because it combines Hamas forces in those totals.
Meanwhile, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu now requesting that President Trump pardon him. Netanyahu is currently facing charges of fraud, breach of trust, and accepting bribes. The Israeli president's office has called the move an extraordinary request with significant implications.
This morning, President Trump is back in Washington after spending Thanksgiving in Florida, where he also spoke by phone with Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. The call comes as the Trump administration intensifies pressure on Venezuela and continues to bolster U.S. forces in the Caribbean. Trump also weighed in on social media, writing, quote, "Please consider the airspace above and surrounding Venezuela to be closed in its entirety." This also comes as lawmakers in Washington continue to express support for a congressional review of recent strikes on alleged drug boats.
We definitely need the administration to finally answer the question of why strike rather than interdict. If you know where the ships are, you can interdict, and when you do, you get evidence.
Lawmakers are also pressing the Pentagon after a Washington Post report claimed Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth ordered the crew of one of those boats to be killed. Hegseth called the report fabricated, inflammatory, and derogatory, insisting the action was legal. President Trump later told reporters the administration will look into the allegation further.
Northwest University is paying the Trump administration $75 million. The settlement ends the Justice Department anti-Semitism investigation that spurred the government to freeze $790 million in federal funding to the school. All pending Title VI investigations are now closed. It's unclear exactly what the allegations against the school entailed.
And a new Gallup survey shows President Trump's approval rating has dropped to 36%. That's the lowest point of his second term. The poll was conducted between November 3rd and November 25th, capturing the final days of the government shutdown. Gallup also found the president's approval among Republicans fell 7 points, down to 84%.
Well, tomorrow is Giving Tuesday, and the Dane County Humane Society is one of the many nonprofits asking for your help. They're about halfway to their fundraising goal of $140,000, and to get there, they are ready to match your donations. The funds will help support the Humane Society's open admission shelter, which means that they can help all animals regardless of their age, health, or temperament. To donate, just head to giveshelter.org/givingtuesday.
All right, so that's that time of year, Cyber Monday today.
Yeah.
I know a few minutes ago, Chris and I were talking about Christmas shopping. Have you pinned that down completely?
I have one gift left, I think.
One
But
gift?
yeah, I even wrapped them too. They're all under my Christmas
Oh,
tree.
good for
Wow,
you,
ambitious.
Savannah. Good.
Yeah.
Wow.
When I say wrap, I just mean put in a gift bag and throw some tissue.
I mean,
paper.
that's
I
still
don't actually
something.
wrap anything.
That counts.
That's a big deal. Like on December 1st? Yeah, you're that girl.
I did it like Thanksgiving weekend, so we're already done with that almost.
Clock it. Love it.
I just got to pick up one more gift. But yeah, the big story weather-wise this morning, guys, freezing fog out there, and our next system that could bring us some snow showers again by lunchtime across some of southern Wisconsin. It's all sitting across Omaha, Nebraska, well to our southwest right now. That system is going to ride closer to us. That is posing several states under another winter weather advisory. That's the purple color. So you see no one across southern Wisconsin's included in that. I wouldn't be shocked if they do add some of our counties southeast of Madison, Rock County, Jefferson County, Walworth County towards Milwaukee as well, just because those areas are going to see those moderate snow showers move in later this afternoon and evening. That's noon until midnight if you're heading down to Rockford or Chicago today, or headed from those areas back up to southern Wisconsin. Be mindful of that. Another 1 to 3 inches is possible. We'll talk about how much is possible here across southern Wisconsin coming up.
Savannah, thank you. Now to some sports news. For the 13th straight year in the 29th time in program history, the Badger women's volleyball team has earned a place in the tournament. After finishing the season at number 2 in the Big Ten with a record of 24-4, the Badgers earned the 3rd seed and will host 2 first-round games beginning this Thursday. And Wisconsin is set to take on Eastern Illinois in the first round, and they will play the winner of the North Carolina UTEP game to make sure their way to regionals and potentially further.
Meantime, Badger women's hockey is on a roll. They wrapped up the Smashville Showcase tournament and smashed some records in the process. To Nashville, playing against Stonehill College, first 20 seconds. UW's Finley McCarthy gets the party started, her first goal of the season. Then later, Lacey Eden would find the back of the net for her 200th career point, only the 9th Badger in history to do that. In second period, they're just on fire. 9 points in the second period alone. That's the most goals in a single period in program history. The final, 17-2. That is not a typo, a new single game record for the Badger women, beating the one that they set just last season by a single point. Next up, they play at Ohio State this Friday.
Well, coming up after the break, hold off on making your morning cereal. Ahead, why Prairie Farms is recalling some of its milk and where these recalled batches were shipped to.
And taking a live look at those roads this morning, we'll get an update on the weather conditions when Savannah tracks the next weather maker right after this.
You're watching News 3 Now this.
Thanks, Drew. Shift change.
It's cold in here. Pumpkins don't hold them up. Probably about time to change those out.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
The construction industry is looking to a new generation to fill a huge worker gap. The problem is that the construction industry just can't replace retiring workers fast enough. Associated Builders and Contractors estimates the construction industry needs more than 400,000 new workers.
When you're short of craft workers and skilled trades, it's hard to get jobs complete on time. And it's just the nature of it.
Tonight on News 3 Now at 10, I'm going to show you how a local school district is getting students ready for a career in the trades. Kyrie Arm.
Very nice. So what are schools doing to prepare for this?
They are connecting students with construction companies and apprenticeships. So it's on-the-job training. It's paid. They can get school credit for it. I mean, I talked to a young woman who got into this program in Wanakee, where they're seeing a big increase in the demand for these types of apprenticeships. So she's getting school credit, getting paid for it, and setting herself up for a new career.
Wow, so schools are really taking the steps to fill that gap. And so what is the pay like for something like this?
So believe it or not, it's about $19 an hour here in Dane County. That's the average for a brand new construction apprentice, for an apprentice in the trades. But after a 3 to 5 year program, they make about $90,000 a year on average here in Dane County. And they come out of that with no college debt, and they are hitting the ground running to start that career. And it's an industry, like I said, that desperately needs new workers. We see the construction everywhere. You can't turn your head in Dane County without seeing a construction site somewhere. So as those workers retire, they need more people like students out there who are looking at a non-traditional path, after school to help fill those roles. That's tonight on News 3 Now at 10.
All right, looking forward to that report. Lots to dig into.
All right, speaking of digging, a lot of us have dug out from over the weekend and all that snow. Savannah, how much did we get?
Yeah, here's a recap at both days. This is combined Saturday and Sunday totals across southern Wisconsin. Platteville got a foot of snow. Madison, 11.7 inches. Lake Mills, Mount Horeb, Janesville, all 11 inches. Jefferson got 9 inches. Partyville, Reedsburg, and New Libsyn, 8. Viroqua, 7.1. Mauston, 7. And Laval, 6 inches. That all fell within what the First Warn Weather Team was forecasting. Northern Illinois saw a little bit less, but still totals that did reach 8 to even 10 plus inches of snow. This brings us to the 4th snowiest snow on record. November 2025, the single day snow event, Saturday's total was 9.3. That did bring us up to 11.7 with additional snow that fell on Sunday. And we have more snow that's in the forecast, yes, later today. This afternoon, starting at noon, areas south of here, a winter weather advisory goes into effect, that lasting until midnight. I wouldn't be surprised if some of our southeastern counties, the Janesville area, maybe Watertown, Waukesha, Milwaukee, and Kenosha get added to this, just because there is still going to be moderate to heavy snow that falls across those areas later today. But the freezing fog still out there across some of us. Janesville's down to just half a mile, Watertown at 5, Madison 10, but still focusing on western Dane County that's actually seeing another band of that fog, some of that dense moving in. So any untreated surfaces, back roads, sidewalks, parking lots could become very slick because our temperatures are really cold. And then when you factor in the freezing fog on top of that, not ideal this morning. 8 degrees in Madison, 5 in Janesville, 2 in Lone Rock, and we have even chillier temperatures that are going to be into the forecast Wednesday night into Thursday morning. A lot colder than what we're waking up to now. Let's time out the snow. This is as we approach 12:30. Some light to moderate snow showers move in northwest of Madison, but I still think those areas southeast and south of Madison are going to be the ones that see the most additional accumulations for southern Wisconsin, south of Madison, down towards the Illinois-Wisconsin border. Could be up to about 2 inches, 1 to 2 inches at the most. Madison, trace amounts up to an inch in areas north of Madison, just trace amounts of additional snow accumulations expected. But yeah, after we head through that 9 to 10 p.m. time frame, all of that moves eastward and our temperatures are going to slowly start to fall. Temperatures this afternoon will reach the mid-20s, fall to 12 tonight, rebound back up into the mid-20s tomorrow. The only day we get close to freezing level is Wednesday, the high of 30, and then to follow that, -2 Wednesday night, 10 into Thursday afternoon only.
All right, Savannah, thank you. Now to some consumer news. Prairie Farms is recalling certain gallons of fat-free milk that may contain food-grade cleaning agents. The milk was sold at Woodman stores here in Wisconsin and Illinois. It was produced at the company's Dubuque, Iowa facility, and affected products have a December 8th expiration date. Customers should throw out the milk or return it to the store for a full refund. Prairie Farms says all other recalled milk has been removed from shelves.
Well, the numbers are in. Americans spent close to $12 billion online for Black Friday. That's up more than 9% from a year ago, according to Adobe Analytics. Adobe thinks that growth was driven by steeper discounts than forecast. That also means some retailers benefit more than others. However, the growth was not adjusted for inflation.
At the box office, it was a weekend full of sequel successes. Disney's animated sequel, Zootopia 2, earned more than $96 million over the weekend. Since its Wednesday opening, it has grossed over $500 million globally, making it the highest international opening ever for an animated film. Wicked for Good raked in about $63 million in its second weekend, and Now You See Me, Now You Don't came in with $7 million at the weekend box office.
All right, dethroning Wicked. Zootopia 2.
Yes.
My kids were asking about that one. Dad, when is that coming out?
Yes, got to get out there to the theaters.
Wait till it hits the stream.
Yeah, I mean, it's bound to happen sooner than later. So, yeah, it always does. Well, coming up in the morning sprint, Pope Leo is now continuing his first international trip. Ahead, what he said of Lebanon's political leadership.
If you have a little kiddo turning 3 soon, send us a picture. We'll show it on TV. .54, time for the morning sprint.
A heavy storm blanketed large parts of the Midwest with snow over the weekend, disrupting travel plans for those returning home from the Thanksgiving holiday. Here at home, Madison officials declared a snow emergency after the metro area received more than 9 inches of snow that will be lifted here at 7 a.m. Despite this, crews have worked all weekend to clear the snow and salt the roads, but last night's cold temps may still mean the roads have some slick spots, so give yourself some extra time today.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio led a U.S. delegation that met with Ukrainian negotiators yesterday. It's in a bid to hammer out a deal to bring Russia's war with Ukraine to an end. Rubio said the U.S. is intent on not only ending the war, but also maintaining Ukraine's sovereignty. Today, U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, the president's son-in-law, will travel to Moscow for more talks.
Pope Leo continued his first international trip as pontiff yesterday, arriving in Lebanon after a 4-day tour of Turkey. Following meetings at Beirut's presidential palace, Pope Leo presented a speech challenging Lebanon's political leaders to be peacemakers and to put their differences aside. His message comes as the Lebanese people face financial uncertainty and fears of a new war with Israel.
In Dodgeville, 4 people are recovering this morning after a car crash. It happened Saturday morning during the snow between Highway 18 and Berg Road. The Iowa County Sheriff's Office says 1 person is slightly hurt, 2 were seriously hurt, and 1 is critically injured.
Tomorrow is Giving Tuesday, and the Dane County Humane Society is calling for your support. They're halfway to their $140,000 goal and will match your donations. Your contributions will support their open admission shelter, helping animals of all ages, health, and temperaments. Plan to donate at giveshelter.org/givingtuesday.
The construction industry looking to a new generation to fill a huge worker shortage. The problem is the construction industry can't replace retiring workers fast enough. Tonight on News 3 Now at 10, I'm going to show you how a local school is preparing teenagers to enter the trades.
Still do have some areas of freezing fog out there this morning. Allow a little bit of extra time. Any untreated surfaces could become slick, and especially with how colder temperatures are this morning and that freezing fog, that is still possible. We'll only reach a high of 25 today. We're down to -2 Wednesday night and a high of 10 only on Thursday. So really cold temperatures in the forecast.
That's enough.
I know.
That's enough.
Skip to May.
Yes. Have a good day.